Trump, among other things, a menace to conservatism.
Joining us now to discuss, Matt Schlapp, former political director for President George W. Bush and current chairman of the American Conservative Union, and with him, CNN political commentator Van Jones. Matt, let me start with you. The National Review, we were talking about it being sort of the instruction manual for generations of Republicans on how to do this. So when they come out with this magazine, this issue, this basically says, no Trump, anyone but Trump, is that a big deal?
Yeah, it's a big deal. And, I became a conservative largely because I was a subscriber to National Review when I was in college. It's a big deal. It's a very important publication for the conservative movement. And this conversation about whether Donald Trump is an orthodox conservative or not is a perfectly valid conversation. I just feel like at the end of the day, what conservatives need to do is they're going to have to unite behind the Republican nominee. Having 4 or 8 more years of what we've seen out of the Obama administration, we'll never get our country back to what it was before all of this progressive policies. And so I just hope we can have this conversation, this family conversation, in a way that still allows us to unite, and I think it will.
Matt calls it a perfectly valid conversation the Republican family needs to be having, Van. But looking at the pure politics of where we are right now and when this is happening in the political cycle, does this, the fact that this National Review with this list of conservatives coming out so strongly against Trump, does this help or hurt Donald Trump? Does it play right into his hands?
Well, time will tell. First of all, if this is a family dispute, I don't know, this is the Munster family. What kind of family fights like this? It's like a 3-way civil war. Looks like Syria. You have the establishment going after both Cruz and Trump. Here's reality. The establishment actually grudgingly likes Donald Trump's personality. They kind of admire his brashness. They just hate his ideas. He's got a goulash of ideas that don't go together. They actually like Ted Cruz's ideas, but they hate his personality. They hate the fact that Ted Cruz used their faces to springboard into national prominence. So they've got one guy they like the ideas, they hate the personality, another guy they like the personality, they hate the ideas. So they're going after both of them full bore. And we will see now whether or not the so-called establishment is anything but a paper tiger. I can't tell yet, but this is hardly a polite family discussion. This is a war. This is a full-out war.
Van, can I just say something that might surprise you, Van? I really agree with what you're saying. The Republican Party is a conservative party. 2/3 of those who are going to vote in these primaries are conservatives, and they're sending a very strong message. So an outsider like a Donald Trump is perfectly acceptable to them. Somebody who's a down-the-line orthodox conservative like Ted Cruz is perfectly acceptable to them. And the old way that we used to nominate people might have changed because Obama has taken this country to a place where conservatives are so worried.
It's a very valid point. Look, we have this discussion, Van. We're having this discussion about both these guys getting attacked by these powerful forces. Well, both these guys are leading in the polls right now by a lot in some cases. So there's clearly something about them, both of them, that voters like. I want to get your reaction. Again, so there's this National Review stuff, and then there's stuff in the Washington Post. There's so much out there, it makes your hair hurt. Rudy Giuliani now telling Robert Costa of the Washington Post, if it came down to Trump or Cruz, there's no question I'd vote for Trump. As a party, we'd have a better chance of winning with him. Van, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, that's, I was asked to write for this National Review piece, and although I have a lot of great friends who decided to write for that, for this edition, in the end, I want to make sure that whether it's Trump or Cruz or Carly Fiorina or Governor Christie, whoever it turns out to be our nominee, we have to understand that it's going to be a binary choice. It's going to be about them versus either Bernie Sanders, who looks increasingly likely, or Hillary Clinton. And that's a very important thing that we have to get every vote we possibly can. What Rudy Giuliani is basically saying is that we really can't afford to take any voter for granted because our path to victory, we all know, is slim. Conservatives all know that. We have to get every conceivable vote we can get.
Can I say something, though?
But, Van, I think it's time to turn to the Democrats. Let's talk about the Democrats.
Okay.
Easy, Matt. So, Van, last night, Wolf did a great interview with Hillary Clinton and asked her to answer to the attack coming at her from Bernie Sanders, which is that she is part of the Democratic establishment. This is what she told Wolf.
I just don't understand what that means. He's been in Congress. He's been elected to office a lot longer than I have. I was in the Senate for 8 wonderful years representing New York. He's been in the Congress for 25, and so I'll let your viewers make their own judgment.
Van, is Hillary Clinton a member of the Democratic establishment?
Hillary Clinton is the Democratic Party establishment, and God bless her for it. I tell you what, I'm proud of this party. I'm proud of her leadership of it. But I think it smacks of a little bit of desperation when when you and your husband basically represent this party here and around the world and pretend you're not the establishment. Here's what's going on. The Clintons hoped that this was just kind of a little gadfly campaign, a little campaign they could ignore, and it turns out this Sanders surge is real. He has tapped into something that has been hidden for a long time. There is massive, massive pain and discontent and frustration in the Democratic Party with our establishment, just like there is in the Republican Party. And what you're seeing now is the Clintons have to fight back. They may not understand. You got a whole generation that has come up now hearing Fox News and others call President Obama, who's an economic moderate, a socialist for 8 years.
Oh,
and so the term socialist is no longer has any kind of for a big part of the Democratic base, and I think they thought that would be an easy stumbling block. It's not. She's going to have to fight him heads up. This town hall meeting that is going to happen in 3 days is going to be Armageddon inside of this party. You watch. They are going to both come out. There will be no more gloves, no gloves, no punches held. It's going to be a fight for the heart of this party,
if I could,
and it's going to be a real deal.
Matt, quickly.
Yeah, if I could, it's absurd to call Barack Obama a moderate in any sense. And what's happening to the Democratic Party is Obama has taken the party so far to the left that the base of the Democratic Party, which are basically socialists and collectivists, they really are turning to Bernie Sanders because they're saying, look, Obama did so much, let's just even do more. Hillary Clinton can't even answer the question about what's the difference between a socialist and a Democrat. You know why? Increasingly, there is no difference. And if we're the Munster family, I think you guys are the Addams family.
Well, all right.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing us back to the 70s TV.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Van Jones, Max Schlapp. Van Jones with quite a plug there. Not sugarcoating it.
If we need to plug the town hall anymore. Thank you so much, Van. Great to see you guys. In addition